Hello and welcome to the Flipping and Wholesaling Houses in New York show. I am Michael Pinter, where I teach you how to start flipping or wholesaling houses in New York, or if you're already doing how to grow your business. So, a couple things. I got a good question. It's an interesting question. I don't know how long this answer is going to be because I don't even know where I'm going with it. The question is, how much work is too much work when you flip or wholesale a house? Now, the real answer to that is there's no such thing as too much work, but you got to understand the context. So, for the first 4 years I did this, I got renovated every house that I bought, right? I wanted to be Tarek El Moussa from Flip or Flop, and I wanted everything to be open concept and beautiful. But about 5 years ago, I switched to going direct to seller. I was buying those properties for the first 4 years at auction, and when I started going direct to seller, I sort of switched to a different model. So ideally, I would love to get to zero work, where I do no work whatsoever. Because every time I've had a headache or something that was a problem for me, it was involving the construction work. I'm never going to get there. I'm always going to buy properties that do need work. But ideally, I would wholesale every property I get. I can't wholesale every property I get because I can't buy it cheap enough every time. And the circumstances are different every time. But ideally, I would wholesale every property. So the issue is there's no limit to how much work there is, but I have to figure it into my cost. So let's just do an example. First of all, at most places and most houses, for $100,000, I can pretty much get a new house. I mean, just to run numbers off the top of your head. If I do demolition on a house, it costs me, let's say, $5,000. Once everything's demoed, all new plumbing and all new electrical together, probably $30,000. All new sheetrock's probably another $10,000. The whole new kitchen's another $10,000. 2 new bathrooms are another $15,000, let's say. New roof is $8,000. So $100,000, I pretty much get a new house in most of the areas of most areas I work in. If it's bigger, if it's different, if there's a bulkhead, if there's something special, if there's a foundational problem, it could be different. But most properties. So let's just take $100,000. It's a lot of work. That is. So let's say I see a house, and so the main two numbers I need to know are the ARV. What's the after repaired value? If everything is done, what's it going to sell for? And the repair estimate. So I just told you the repair estimate in this case is $100,000. Let's say the house is worth $500,000. So I'm going to try and buy it at 70% of that ARV minus repair. So if the house is worth $500,000, 70% is $350, minus 100 is $250. I'm going to try and get it around $250, and ideally at that price, I can then wholesale it to $80. $300. Now, obviously, the people that I wholesale to, the cash buyers, they may have different estimate on the ARV. It might be higher than me. It might be lower. They may have different estimates on the repairs. It might be higher. It might be lower. But those are the general numbers that I work on. So the real question is, what if I can only buy the property at, let's say, $350, right? At $350, where I can't wholesale it. Will I take it and do the work? And it depends. It depends on what's going on, my availability of the guys that I use. I don't have full-time guys working for me. I have guys who do all the work for me, but they're not full-time. They're contractors. So if they're available, it depends where it is. It depends really on what's involved. It depends what possible problems could arise. I have to make a decision whether I'm going to buy that and do the work to it. I'm trying to stay away from major projects right now. And that's one of the reasons why I'm able to wholesale these properties. And everybody I'm wholesaling to is making money. I'm happy with that. I'm fine with that. So the question is too much work. It really isn't. I've done land. I just sold a piece of land for $200,000. Now somebody's got to build a house there. I don't want to build a house there because he can build a house cheaper than I can. And there really is no such thing as too much work. There really isn't. It's just it's a function of the price you're going to get it at, right? Ideally, I buy things cheap enough that I can then sell it to somebody who's going to do the work, and there's enough of a spread that I can make money. That's the whole thing here. If I can't buy it cheap enough, will I do it? So the answer is today I probably wouldn't buy something that needs $100,000 worth of work if I had to close on it. But sometimes you get into a project and you think you're going to be able to wholesale it. I'm doing a quick peek tonight, something in Mastic. I thought I was going to wholesale it. I couldn't wholesale it. I couldn't get access to it. And I ended up doing the work. So in the situation I gave you, let's say I bought that house for $250 or $260 and I couldn't find anybody to wholesale to, then I do the work, right? That's what happens, unfortunately. So there is no such thing as too much work. Everything is just a function of the price you get it at. And ideally, I would wholesale every property I have to somebody who's going to do the work. But as I'm sure the market is going to change, right? Market's super hot now. I'm sure it's going to change. I don't know when. I don't know how much. I don't know for how long it's going to change. At that point, we might have to do more work instead of wholesaling. The buyers might dry up. All kinds of things will happen that get scary. People are afraid in a down market to buy, but we might have to buy at deeper discounts. But right now, there's no such thing as too much work. It's just a question of the price that you buy it at. That's it. So if more information about how I can help you, go to howtoflipnewyork.com. If you like these videos, please click like. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. put comments below. This was by request from any topic you want me to answer on a video, I'll do. I thought it was a great question, even though it's a complicated answer. I hope I answered it right. How much work is too much work? But keep the questions coming. Keep the topics coming. They give me something to do. I get scared when the topics run low, and I'm afraid I'm going to have to come up with an original thought. I'd much rather you ask me questions and I'm able to answer them. So thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it.